In this episode, we're talking about whether or not you need a real estate license to manage properties within Airbnb.
Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. This show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show.
Welcome back, Host Nation. I'm John Bell, and I'm here with my good friend Julian Sage, and we're talking about whether or not you need a real estate license to list properties or manage properties for other people within Airbnb. And I have a question for you, Julian. Do you need a license to do this everywhere?
First thing that I just want to clarify is that this is not any legal advice. Definitely want to talk with the right people. If you are going to be operating properties, whether you are managing as a property manager or maybe you're co-hosting. Now, I want to make that distinction between managing properties and co-hosting because there is a fine line between whether you may need a license or where you may not need a license, and that also depends on the states that you're operating out of. So certain states may require, if you are handling money, and you are managing property on somebody else's behalf. So if someone is staying in your property and then you're collecting those fees and then you are taking those fees and then handing it off to maybe the property owner, in certain states, they may look at that as property management. So you would potentially need a license in certain states. Not all states require this, though. I know in Florida, for example, you do not need a real estate license to be able to manage vacation rentals. Other states, though, like Colorado or I believe Kansas, are states that you actually need to be able to have a license because if you are managing properties and you are collecting it on behalf of somebody else, then you do need a license. But co-hosting is a little bit different in that co-hosting, you don't have to actually manage funds. If you are being attached to a user's profile, let's say on Airbnb, you can be attached as a co-host. Now, a co-host, if you don't know what that is, we're going to include a video talking more about co-hosting. But just generally, co-hosting is you are not managing the funds for the property owner, the person that you are managing their property for or managing different aspects of their business. You're just maybe handling things like, let's say, messaging, or you're handling, let's say, the pricing, or you're handling the cleaners. You might be handling different aspects of the business, but you are not collecting funds, putting it into your bank account, and then paying the property owner for this work.
Does this only go by each state, or can it change with the certain counties or any type of certain city?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we always want to look at regulations from a top-down type of perspective. So you always start at the state and you look if there's any type of state regulations in place. So are you required in the state to have your license to be able to manage short-term rentals, vacation rentals, or handle other people's funds for people that are staying in a property? Next, after that, you want to look at the county because each county is probably going to have their different jurisdictions from each other. In one particular county, they may require, and another, they might not. After you reach the county level, that is probably going to be good enough for finding out if you do need a license. When you start looking down at things like the particular municipality or maybe within an association, you're looking more at like those association bylaws. But just to find out if you need a license to be able to manage properties, that's going to be state and then your county.
So, Julian, maybe I searched and did everything and I don't need a license, but should I still get one? Is there some benefit there for me as a host?
Now, that's a really good question. Now, I personally think that having a license, if you are going to be managing properties, if you are going to be in real estate, having your license is a very good plus, I personally believe, because if you are managing properties for someone, this is already maybe a very savvy investor. This is someone that is coming to you and they are looking for your expertise in managing properties. Now, if you're able to add an extra level of service, let's say you are able to help them potentially find a property and then transact that property, you really can start to become like a full stack short-term rental operator. So when people come to you, they can say, hey, you're the guy that I go to, you're the person that I go to, guy, girl, that can help me find a property, and then you can help me manage properties. And then they might even have people that they can refer you you to that are also looking to purchase properties. So I personally believe having a license is definitely a nice tool to have. It's not something that you necessarily need because you can still analyze properties without a license. You can still find a nice property and you can maybe work something out with a real estate agent, or maybe you just join onto their team. There's some different ways that you might be able to work around that without necessarily having to get your license. But if you are looking to maybe add an extra level of service and an extra skill set to your toolbox, then getting your license, I personally believe, is not a bad thing to have.
All right, Host Nation, question of the day is, are you going to get your real estate license to work within this business? Be sure to hit that like and follow button, and be sure to answer the question in the comments below.
Until next time, Host Nation, keep on hosting. If you'd like John and I to answer your guys' questions, then be sure to go to the Host Nation Facebook group and use hashtag AskVRN. Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.